Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cast Track. Thanks for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. I am super stoked to introduce one of my dear friends that most Calgarians know, Jeff Popiel. Jeff was born in Calgary, grew up in Edmonton, also lived in Vancouver and Toronto through his adult life. Fortunately, he calls Calgary home and loves it here. Lucky us. Jeff tells me that his best friend is his beautiful wife, Holly. They have two amazing daughters who are 12 and 10 years old. They are a very close family, and both girls play ringette, which is a big part of their lives, probably a pretty busy part of their lives. Besides his loved ones, Jeff is passionate about the community and the arts, and that's obvious. Professionally, he loves building organizations and teams and leading a creative life. Friends, you'll find his full bio attached. Jeff, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm super stoked. Thank you so much for saying yes.
I'm excited. I'm very flattered you'd have me on. So thank you.
Are you kidding? Oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Are you ready for the questions?
Yeah, you bet.
Cool. All right. Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? Well, to me, this is sort of, there's a couple different lenses that I guess I could answer through. I have, and you know from my background, I have a very eclectic career path. So it is not the normal trajectory. It's been a lot of different industries and companies, but I absolutely love it. So for me, doing what I do has always been about a connection to my core values. I love helping others. I love building community, and I love leading a creative life. So if it's in those spheres, it's something that I'd be interested in. I look for growth opportunities, and I've been really fortunate that I've had a lot of doors open for me that allow for that challenge. And I learned, early in my career, really when I made my first big jump. So when I went from food to entertainment, to value fear as a great indicator of a growth opportunity ahead. There's two kinds of fear. There's the kind that's overwhelming, but when you have that excitement, I wonder if I can do it. I wonder if I can go and be part of this. That's been a big thing for me. And then the last thing is just the functional work that I do has intrinsic value to me. So the creative problem solving of building high performance teams and working with them to create exciting new futures, that's why I do what I do.
Well then, being
to do what I do.
Being the new president of Village is certainly a good fit for you then.
Yeah, it is. It's another really flattering thing. One that has the right kind of fear, the right kind of excitement. It's a new industry, but one that I've dabbled in the past with consumer packaged goods, and but it's that strong connection to the community. I've called it. I spent some time in a social venture, but this is sort of a for-profit with purpose, and I like that, because when you're trading your days for what we do, and we all work hard, it makes it that much more worthwhile, and it adds that purpose. So I'm pretty excited.
That's obvious, and I know that your team is super excited. And of course, Mr. Button, super excited.
Yes, it's been well, all of our founders. I've been so. It's just that the welcoming has been amazing. Fraser Abbott and I joined at the same time to help lead Village with the team, but it's just been quite honestly, I don't think I've had that much open-mindedness and willingness to just consider new futures. So it's been off to the right start, and I'm certainly excited to be part of that team.
No doubt. Congratulations, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you.
What about your top 3 things that you want to share with us today?
Well, so my top 3 things are the things that have been on my mind most recently have been centered around sort of an optimism. So I feel like, we've had a lot of heaviness. We've had COVID. It's challenging times, devastation in so many things, but vaccines are here, they're being distributed. There's an oxygen in conversations we're having with our partners. And it just feels like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So my three things are actually three things I think we should celebrate and we should take note of. That okay?
Yes.
Great. So I have my three are, I think we should celebrate the adaptation and the resilience that we've seen in the community. I think we should celebrate the creativity and innovation. And I also feel like there's just been incredible examples of a sense of community through all of this, and especially as we're coming out. So for me, the first one is celebrating adaptation and resilience. I have a great, I had a great opportunity come up through COVID. I became chair of the Calgary Arts Coalition. And this is a group of a lot of the major arts organizations. And we came together as sort of a support group through COVID. And we're now working closely with Creative Calgary on supporting artists and arts organizations as we come out of this, and quite honestly into uncharted territories. There's a lot of newness that things we've never had to deal with before from that arts community side. So to sort of have that front row seat to watch some of these leaders in Calgary take their organizations, whether it's digitally or finding new ways to connect with arts patrons, whether it's adapting to health restrictions, for most of that particular industry, just a complete elimination of social gatherings is not a normal business interruption. Mm-hmm. So, my hat goes off to the adaptation and that and the modeling of that type of resilience that community has shown. That's big for me. It's been when you talk about growth and learning through observing, it's felt quite special to be part of that group. Celebrating the creativity and innovation that Calgary is demonstrating is another thing that I wanted to sort of highlight. Right now, I'm part of a different group. It's a unique discussion that's happening in Calgary right now on how we can come together to innovate and model resilience and inspire through an innovative creative venture that we're looking at. And I'm just astounded at the open-mindedness and willingness to so this is sort of a group of organizations and community organizations who are willing to let go of the past and old models and old ways of doing things and take a leap forward. Also largely not just for their benefit, but for the benefit of the broader group of Calgary in the Calgary arts community, but also Calgarians in general. So I think that's really important to take our hat off to those folks that I've been so blessed to be a part of. And then the last is sort of celebrate a sense of community. And since coming to Village, the craft beer industry is very relatively small, but very close. I've probably never been part of a community that's been that collaborative and that tight. Ooh. And it's just, you hear stories that come across your desk where there's a brewer who has a packaging machine, a canning machine, and another brewery's machine goes down, and well, you can use mine and I'll help you get that product out to survive. And but if this machine goes down, like, we're both done. So the coming together like that, or the sharing of expertise and sending brewers over to help, when people leave the industry and whatnot. And it's quite honestly, it almost chokes you up sometimes to think of how challenging times also brings out the best in people. And that's really what I think my three things were about. We're seeing the best in Calgary and Calgarians coming through in these challenging times.
I knew what you had to say would be all optimistic. I love it. I don't know if you heard Curtis Stange with ATV on Cat's Track. He had a really interesting phrase where he said that we all talk about EQ, emotional intelligence, obviously. He's talked about it as AQ, adaptability quotient.
That's
right?
very true. Absolutely. And it's, I think, I didn't see that one, but I'll definitely check it out. But how I love that term, because isn't that truth? It's something that we're not often tested on, certainly not to the degree that we've all been tested on lately, but a really, really important part of something we can bring to our organizations as leaders.
Agreed. And and to lead through that effort so that the team can know where to go. It's really difficult when we're watching leaders struggle, and how does the rest of the team follow?
Yeah. And when you say it, like, what comes to my mind is the truth is, even leading is, we don't know how things are going to turn out. We don't, like, we're going to figure it out together. And the value in the AQ statement to me is partly also on perspective, that it's okay to not be able to see the end of that road. Perhaps it's okay for the path to change and the runway to change ahead of us. It's how do we want to show up? How do we want to arrive and receive that moment and rise to that occasion? And it takes courage. It takes a lot of qualities. It takes character, and it's okay for us to learn as we go, especially when we're called upon. I do think that past generations, you know, when you hear about generations who've faced war and faced the Great Depression and some of these other massive events, we've been so blessed. Really, and so I think perspective is sort of the name of the game, where you kind of just take it in stride and have maybe a bigger 30,000 foot perspective that helps you take the bumps along the way a little bit more easily, and you just keep one foot ahead of the other. So
that reminds me of, I know I've mentioned to you before that my dad would have loved you and all of his dadisms. One of them was, go as far as you can see and then you'll see further.
Yep. Isn't that a great one? I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them that come, like adaptation. It's the necessity is the mother of invention, and there's a whole bunch of those that have never rang more true to all of us than perhaps the last 12 months, right?
So true. Thanks, Jeff. And I'm excited. So, new frontier or good news story? Tell us.
Well, for us, it's exciting times right now at Village Brewery. We've got a real energy to us. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, but Village is turning 10 years old in December. So we have the great task and opportunity to dream up some really exciting new futures. So for us, that creativity and that innovation is a huge part of it. As I mentioned, we turned 10 in December. So, we're going to be working on a whole bunch of exciting new stuff that the public will start to see at the end of this year and the beginning of next year. A big piece for us is community, Village. That is part of our DNA, and so we're continuing with our community support, and we're looking for more opportunities to be there, and also sort of opportunities to support our key partners in hospitality who've been devastated through COVID, and we're looking for ways to innovate and find new ways to support some of all of our hospitality partners, because that connection that we all have, and those times that we have getting together, oftentimes that's the arena. Those are the stage for so many memories in our lives. So very much an exciting time. I'm learning like crazy right now, along with Fraser, and so hopefully we'll have some really exciting stuff to let you know about in the fall.
I know you will. I have full confidence. I'm super stoked to hear everything that's going to happen. Keep us in mind so that we can help promote it everywhere, Jeff.
I will for sure. And thank you for all your support, personally and for Village.
That's easy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I'm the fan over here in the gallery.
Right on.
Thanks so much, Jeff. I really appreciate your time today.
Super. Thanks for having me.
Everyone, Jeff Popiel with Village Brewery. Yes, what a great local success story, both with Jeff and Village Brewery. Thanks so much for joining us on Cast Track. We'll see you next time.